Beloved listeners, the greatest conversation with life is not spoken in words, but in actions. Time does not listen to excuses. Time does not respond to promises. Time only bends to action. And when you learn to act, you discover that every moment can multiply itself. There is a secret most people never learn. You do not need to feel ready before you begin. Readiness is an illusion, a mirage that the mind projects in front of you. It whispers, one day, when you are more confident, when you are more skilled, when the stars align, then you may start. And so many wait. They wait for years. They wait for strength, for clarity, for permission. Life is not waiting with them. Life is moving forward. Time does not pause because you hesitate. Time flows, and while you hold back, opportunities pass like clouds drifting across the sky, never to return in the same shape again. The truth is, you will never feel fully ready. Readiness comes only after you step into the unknown. It is in the act of moving, in the stumble, in the attempt, that readiness is born. Confidence is not the seed, it is the fruit. And fruit only grows once the seed is planted in the soil of action. Those who wait for readiness mistake the order. They think courage comes before action. But courage is discovered while you act. Think clarity arrives before the first step. But clarity comes when your feet are already on the path. Consider a child learning to walk. Child does not wait until she is certain she can balance. She moves, she wobbles, she falls, she rises again. And within this trial, walking is learned. If she had waited until she felt ready, she would have never left the floor. We are no different. We must be willing to begin clumsily, to walk with trembling legs, to speak when our voice is still unsteady, to create when our hands still doubt themselves. The greatest waste of time is waiting for the perfect time. There is no perfect time. Only perfect time is now. For when you begin, you enter into a dialogue with life itself. You show life your intention, and life responds. Doors open. Teachers appear. The path unfolds. But nothing happens until you begin. When you act before you feel ready, you are declaring trust. Trust in life, trust in the process, trust in yourself. Action becomes your teacher. Failure becomes your classroom. Every mistake becomes a stepping stone toward mastery. To sit in hesitation is to collect theories. To rise and move is to collect experience. Experience is wealth. Experience is wisdom. And experience cannot be borrowed. It must be lived. The fear of starting is often greater than the reality of the step itself. The mountain looks taller from the valley. But when you climb, you realize it is not impossible. It is simply a series of steps, taken one after the other. Readiness is not standing at the bottom, studying the mountain. Readiness is discovered halfway up, when you look back and realize how far you have already come. One who waits may speak of dreams. The one who begins lives them. The one who waits may have beautiful plans, detailed and flawless in imagination. But plans without action are seeds never planted. They may look alive in the hand. Only when buried in the soil do they have the chance to grow. Beginning before you are ready is an act of humility and courage together. Humility because you accept that you will not be perfect at first. Courage because you dare to move despite that imperfection. And yet, imperfection is not your enemy, it is your teacher. It shapes you, it polishes you, it strengthens you. Without it, there is no growth. Without growth, there is no life. So begin before you feel ready. Begin with trembling hands, with uncertain steps, with a heart that beats too fast. Begin, and in the beginning you will meet yourself. You will meet the strength you thought you lacked, the wisdom you thought you did not have, the resilience you did not know was waiting. The readiness you long for will meet you on the road. Only if you take the first step. The first hour of the day is a mirror of the soul. It is the foundation upon which the entire day is built. If the foundation is weak, the structure will sway. If the foundation is strong, structure will stand firm against the winds that will surely come. Yet most people allow the first hour to slip through their fingers, wasted in distraction, in noise, in hurry. They awaken and rush, pulled immediately into the demands of others, into the endless chatter of the world. In doing so, forfeit their greatest power. The power to shape the rhythm of the day before the world shapes it for them. Every sunrise is a gift, chance to begin again, to rewrite the story of your life. The first hour is the ink with which that story is written. If you spend it in stillness, your mind will carry stillness into the hours that follow. If you spend it in gratitude, your heart will find blessings even in the smallest details. If you spend it in focus, your work will carry clarity. If you spend it in distraction, your mind will scatter. If you spend it in complaint, your spirit will weaken. If you spend it in emptiness, day will pass without weight, without depth, without light. To value the first hour of your day is to recognize that time is sacred. It is not simply a measure on a clock. It is the essence of your existence. How you treat the opening of the day reveals how you treat life itself. Imagine a musician with a great instrument. Before the performance begins, the musician must tune the strings. If they are left untuned, music will be disharmony no matter how skillful the performance. In the same way, the first hour is the tuning of your instrument. Without it, the day will sound like noise. With it, the day can become a symphony. The first hour is not a time to rush. It is not a time to surrender yourself to the flood of demands waiting for you. It is a time to awaken your mind, to nourish your body, to align your spirit. It is the quiet before the storm, the pause before the motion. In this sacred window, you are free from yesterday and not yet entangled with tomorrow. You are alive in the present moment, standing at the doorway of possibility. What you choose in this hour matters more than you know. If you begin with silence, your mind becomes spacious. If you begin with learning, your mind becomes sharp. If you begin with planning, your direction becomes clear. But if you begin with aimlessness, your steps will wander. If you begin with negativity, the weight will carry through the day. The river always flows from its source. Purify the source, and the water will be pure. Many will say, I do not have the time. But time is not given, it is created. To value the first hour, you must take it back from the hands of the world. You may need to rise earlier, you may need to resist the temptation of late night distractions. When you rise and claim the morning, you will find that 1 hour contains more power than 10 scattered hours. In the morning, mind is uncluttered, the spirit is open, and the heart is more receptive. A seed planted then will take root quickly because the soil of the mind is fresh. It is not about filling the first hour with endless tasks. It is about filling it with meaning. A few moments of still breathing, a few words of gratitude, a simple plan for the day. These are enough to transform everything. First hour does not ask you for perfection. It asks you for presence. It asks you to be awake, not just in body, but in spirit. And when you value the first hour, you notice something extraordinary. Time itself begins to expand. Because the day is aligned, you accomplish more with less effort. You are no longer chasing time, you are flowing with it. What seemed overwhelming becomes manageable. What felt heavy becomes light. You have tuned the instrument, and now life plays a melody through you. So guard the first hour of your day with reverence. Let it not be stolen by the noise of the world. Let it not be wasted in triviality. It is the soil in which the entire day will grow. Treat it with care, and your hours will multiply in strength. Treat it carelessly, and the hours will scatter like leaves in the wind. The first hour is your foundation, your rhythm, your compass. Value it, the day will value you. The mind was not created to divide itself into 1,000 directions. It was created to give itself fully, enter deeply, to move with presence. Yet in our world today, distraction has become the air we breathe. We are pulled in every direction, called by countless voices, all demanding fragments of our attention. And so, we scatter. We begin one thing and halfway through it we leap to another. We speak but do not listen. We move but do not arrive. We live but do not taste the fullness of living. The tragedy is not that we do not have enough time. Tragedy is that we spread the time we have too thin, like light diffused until it cannot burn. To focus on one thing at a time is to reclaim the true power of your mind. It is to say this moment is worthy of all of me, not part of me. When you bring your full attention to a single task, you enter a state where time itself begins to shift. Hours feel like minutes, effort feels like flow, and what once seemed heavy becomes light. A scattered mind wastes time because it must constantly return to gather what was dropped. A focused mind saves time because it moves steadily by step without losing energy in confusion. Imagine water flowing across a field. When it spreads, it creates mud, shallow and weak. When it is channeled into a river, it carves valleys, it shapes mountains, it generates power. Your mind is that river. Scatter it is to create mud. To focus it is to create power. Every great creation, every masterpiece, every breakthrough has come not from a distracted mind, but from one fully absorbed in its work. Greatness is not born from doing many things at once, but from doing one thing deeply, one thing completely. The modern world tells you to multitask, to always keep 10 plates spinning. But what is the cost of this? The plates may spin, you are absent from them. Your mind jumps constantly, never resting, never fully present. You write while glancing at a screen. You eat while scrolling through noise. You listen while planning what to say next. And in all this, you miss the depth of living. Multitasking does not multiply time, it divides presence. And without presence, time is hollow. Focusing on one thing at a time is not only a strategy for work, it is a way of living. When you eat, eat. Taste the food, feel the nourishment, notice the textures. When you speak to another, be with them fully, listen without rehearsing your reply. Let your attention rest on their words, on their heart. When you walk, walk. Notice the rhythm of your steps, the air against your skin, the ground beneath your feet. This is how life reveals its richness, not in doing many things, but in being fully present with the one thing before you. And yet, discipline is required, for the mind resists. It wants to wander, it seeks stimulation, it craves novelty. To focus on one thing is to train the mind as one trains a wild horse, patiently, consistently, bringing it back when it runs away. At first, feels difficult. The distractions are loud, the temptation strong, but with practice, the mind begins to settle. Like muddy water left still, clears. And in that clarity you see deeply, you work with strength, you live with peace. Time is not multiplied by speed. It is multiplied by depth. 1 hour of full presence is worth more than 10 hours of restless distraction. When you focus deeply, you discover a hidden abundance of time. You accomplish more, but beyond accomplishment, you experience more. You live more fully, not because more hours were given, but because the hours you had were filled with presence. The one who scatters will always feel rushed, always feel behind, always feel exhausted. The one who focuses will feel steady, will feel clear, will feel a quiet strength. To focus on one thing at a time is to respect time itself, to honor it by giving it the gift of your undivided self. Life is not asking you to do everything. Life is asking you to be fully present in whatever you are doing. And when you are present, even the smallest act becomes radiant, even the simplest task becomes sacred. Life does not become rich by adding more, it becomes rich by removing what is not essential. A tree grows not only by reaching upward, but also by letting go of dead branches. In the same way, a life of depth and clarity is shaped not by everything we gather, but by what we are willing to release. Many people cling to too much. They hold on to noise, to habits that drain, to people who weaken their spirit, possessions that clutter their space, to thoughts that do not serve their growth. They confuse fullness with meaning. Fullness without purpose is only heaviness. The weight of the unnecessary is what bends the spine of the soul. To cut away what does not matter is to respect the gift of time. Every distraction, every meaningless pursuit, every wasted hour is a theft from the life you were meant to live. Time cannot be bought back once it is spent. The choice you make now is the seed of your future. If the seed is weak, the harvest will be shallow. If the seed is strong, harvest will be abundant. Each yes you speak must be guarded, because each yes takes from the limited hours you are given. Every yes to what does not matter is a no to what truly does. The world will always try to drown you in noise. Advertisements will scream for your attention. Endless entertainment will pull you into its stream. Voices around you will try to shape your decisions. But in this flood, you must learn to stand still and ask, does this truly serve my purpose, or does it merely consume my time? Discipline is not only about what you do, it is also about what you refuse to do. Greatness does not come from a crowded schedule, but from a clear one. A cluttered life produces a cluttered mind, and a cluttered mind cannot focus, cannot create, cannot be at peace. Imagine carrying a heavy bag filled with things you do not need. Every step is slower, every breath more difficult. Yet many live this way inwardly. They carry memories that no longer nourish them, grudges that poison the heart, tasks they never should have accepted, obligations that belong to someone else's dreams. Call this responsibility, but it is not responsibility, it is bondage. True responsibility is to guard your own time, your own energy, so that you may give your best where it truly matters. When you cut away what does not matter, you begin to see clearly. A sculptor who chips away the stone, the form of your true life emerges. Simplicity is not poverty, it is wealth of the highest kind. It is freedom, it is clarity. It is the power to pour yourself fully into the things that align with your purpose. To say no to distraction is to say yes to destiny. But letting go is not easy. The mind clings to the familiar even when the familiar is harmful. It tells you, hold on, just in case. It whispers, you might need this one day. Yet most of what you hold on to holds you back. Release does not make you smaller, it makes you lighter. When you cut away the unnecessary, space opens. And in that space, life places new strength, new vision, new opportunities. Time is sacred, but it is also fragile. What is wasted is lost forever. Is why it matters to cut away what is trivial to protect your hours from thieves. Some thieves come disguised as entertainment, some as obligations, some as habits of thought. Recognize them and have the courage to let them go. You cannot walk a straight path while carrying every stone you find along the way. You must decide which stones build your foundation and which only weigh you down. Cutting away is not only about tasks and distractions, it is also about the inner life. To maximize your time, you must cut away the doubts that paralyze you, the fears that keep you from stepping forward, the voices in your mind that tell you you are not enough. These inner distractions consume more time than any outward noise. When you free yourself from them, the hours you live are no longer wasted in hesitation. To cut away what does not matter is to live with intention. It is to say, my life is short, my time is precious, my energy is sacred. I will not scatter it on what does not serve my soul. I will give it only to what builds, to what heals, to what lasts. And when you live in this way, your time multiplies. Each moment becomes sharper, each action more powerful, each day filled not with endless clutter, but with meaning. And meaning is what transforms ours into a life well lived. If you wait for feelings to move you, you will wait forever. Feelings are waves, and waves rise and fall. Some mornings you awaken with energy. Other mornings you awaken with heaviness. Some days inspiration burns bright. Other days it hides behind clouds. If you make emotion the master of your time, you will never be consistent. And without consistency, there is no growth. Strongest oak does not depend on the weather. It grows through storms, through heat, through cold. In the same way, discipline is the root that allows you to stand firm when feelings shift. Discipline is not a cage, it is a pathway. It is the structure that protects you from the chaos of your moods. Emotion says, I do not feel like it today. Discipline says, do it anyway. Emotion says, I am tired, I will rest first. Discipline says, one step more, then rest. Emotion is impulsive. Discipline is steady. And in the steadiness of discipline, time is honored and progress is made. Without it, time leaks away in excuses, in delays, in promises unfulfilled. Think of a farmer. The farmer does not wait until he feels inspired to sow seeds. He sows because the season demands it. He waters, he labors, he rises early, not because every morning feels good, because discipline tells him, if you do not plant now, there will be no harvest later. The farmer's emotions may vary, his actions remain. And in the end, the earth rewards him not for how he felt, but for what he did. So too in life. Your destiny will not be written by your moods, but by your discipline. The book that is finished, the business that is built, body that is strengthened, the relationship that is nurtured. None of these grow through feeling alone. Grow because someone kept showing up day after day when it was easy and when it was not. This is how time is multiplied, not through bursts of inspiration, but through the steady rhythm of discipline. Emotion is a visitor. It comes, it goes. Discipline is a companion. It stays, it guides. To depend on emotion is to let a stranger drive your life. To choose discipline is to hold the reins yourself. Many people wait for the right mood, the right spark, the perfect energy, and so they waste hours, days, even years waiting. Those who move with discipline create the spark themselves. They do not wait for fire. They strike the match. This is not to reject emotion. Emotion has its place. It colors life. It gives depth. It awakens passion. But passion without discipline burns quickly and fades. Discipline channels passion into something lasting, something that endures. Without it, fire of emotion will light briefly and then leave you in darkness again. With discipline, even small flames are enough to keep you moving forward, step by step, until the path becomes clear. Will be days when discipline feels heavy, when every task feels like lifting a stone. But it is in those moments that character is forged. Anyone can act when they feel inspired. Few continue when they feel empty. Yet it is precisely in that emptiness that strength is born. Every time you move, when emotion says stop, you build a deeper self, one that is not at the mercy of moods. And this self is unshakable. Self does not waste time. This self knows that action is what transforms a life. The danger of living by emotion is not only inconsistency, it is also regret. For emotions pass, but their consequences remain. The choice to delay, to avoid, to quit when it was difficult may seem small in the moment, but over time it becomes a life unlived, dreams unfulfilled, opportunities missed. Discipline protects you from this regret. It is the voice that says, no matter how I feel now, my future deserves this action. And when you act in this way, you honor not just the moment, but the years to come. In truth, freedom is not found in following every emotion. Freedom is found in mastering them. And mastery comes not through suppression, but through discipline. When you act from discipline, you rise above the waves of feeling. You are no longer a passenger in your life. You are the captain. Time bends to the will of the disciplined because they use it while others waste it. The difference between those who build and those who only dream is not feeling. It is discipline. Life often places us in moments where nothing seems to move. You plan, you prepare, you take steps forward, and yet you are told to wait. Waiting room of life can feel like a prison for the impatient heart. You watch others moving ahead, you hear of doors opening for them, and you wonder why yours remain closed. You ask yourself whether you have been forgotten, whether time is slipping away unnoticed, whether your season will ever come. And in this space of delay, many lose hope, many waste hours, many surrender to frustration. But waiting is not punishment. Waiting is invitation. It is the invitation to learn, to grow, to prepare, so that when the moment arrives, you will not only step into it, you will be ready to carry it. The truth is, waiting is part of every journey. The seed must wait in darkness before it can break through the soil. The river must wait behind the dam before it can flow in power. Even the child must wait in the womb before life greets the world. Waiting is not absence of movement. It is the hidden preparation for greater movement. But whether the waiting season is wasted or fruitful depends on what you do with it. If you fill it with complaint, with distraction, with despair, then the season becomes empty. But if you fill it with learning, with reflection, with growth, then the waiting becomes a classroom, and the lessons you take from it will multiply your future. Time is never wasted when it is invested in becoming. To transform waiting into learning is to see that even in stillness, life is speaking. Book you read in quiet hours plants seeds of wisdom. The skill you practice in obscurity strengthens your hands. The silence you embrace becomes clarity for your mind. These are not delays, these are investments. The one who refuses to learn while waiting will be unprepared when the door opens. The one who learns in waiting will be ready to step through with strength. We often imagine that success is built only in visible action, outward progress in achievements that others can see. But the deepest preparation is invisible. Strongest roots grow underground where no one notices. The most powerful rivers carve their paths long before they are visible. In waiting, you are being shaped in ways others cannot see. And when the time comes, the fruit of that hidden season will be undeniable. Waiting is also a teacher of patience, and patience itself is power. Impatience scatters the mind, weakens the heart, wastes energy. Patience anchors you, makes you steady, allows you to endure. When you learn patience in waiting, you discover that time does not control you. You control how you use time. Even in moments of delay, you can turn the wheel of growth. You can choose to rise early and strengthen your body, to read words that sharpen your vision, to reflect and discover truths about yourself you would have missed in the noise. This is how you transform waiting from a season of emptiness into a season of richness. Do not mistake stillness for stagnation. A tree may appear still, but within it, life is flowing, cells are multiplying, roots are deepening. So it is with you. Even if you cannot yet see the outward movement, inwardly you can be growing. And this inner growth is what determines the quality of your future. Life does not reward those who arrive too early unprepared. Rewards those who used the waiting to prepare so thoroughly that when the opportunity came, they could carry it with grace. The greatest mistake is to waste waiting by merely wishing. Wishing is passive, but learning is active. Not simply wish for the door to open. Use the waiting to sharpen the key that will unlock it. Do not simply hope for the moment to come. Use the waiting to build the strength to endure it when it does. Every delay can be turned into a foundation if you choose to treat it that way. When you look back at your life, you will see that the seasons you called delays were actually the seasons that shaped you most. The waiting taught you resilience. Waiting taught you humility. The waiting taught you to see clearly what truly matters. And when the doors finally opened, you walked through not as the same person who began waiting, but as someone more refined, more prepared, more complete. Is the gift of turning waiting into learning. A day is not valuable because it is long. It is valuable because it leaves behind a mark that endures. Many people live 12 hours, 16 hours, even more. And yet, when the day is over, there is little to remember, little to carry forward, little that has truly mattered. Hours pass. Hours alone are not the measure of a life. What matters is not the quantity of time you spend awake, the quality of what you awaken within that time. A single act of depth, a single word spoken with truth, a single step taken with purpose can carry more power than 1,000 empty moments. It is easy to confuse activity with impact. You can move constantly, fill every hour with tasks, run from one obligation to the next, and yet accomplish nothing that truly lasts. Business is not the same as fruitfulness. The world praises business, celebrates crowded calendars. Often these calendars are filled with noise, not with meaning. To measure your days by impact is to ask not, how long did I work? But what did I move forward? What seed did I plant? What did I create today that will matter tomorrow? Time is too precious to be spent only in circles. If you spend every day simply maintaining, simply surviving, simply repeating the same motions, you may fill hours but leave life untouched. If you dedicate even a small portion of each day to something that carries weight, you are building a life of substance. Reading a page that shifts your thinking, speaking a word that encourages someone, creating something that brings value, these are the invisible treasures of impact. They outlast the clock. Think of 2 candles. One burns brightly for an hour, giving warmth and light to a room. Another burns for many hours but flickers weakly, giving little light, little warmth. Which was more valuable? Not the one that burned longer, but the one that burned brighter. So too with life, brightness matters more than length. To live a day of impact is to live a day of light, no matter how long or short it may seem. When you measure your days by impact, you begin to live with intention. You rise in the morning not only asking, what must I do today? But what difference will I make today? It does not have to be something grand. Impact is not always in large actions. Often it hides in the smallest choices. The kindness you show when no one is watching, discipline to finish what you began, the decision to use your voice when silence would be easier. These small acts ripple outward. Touching lives in ways you cannot measure. Many people chase after time, always feeling they need more. Often the problem is not the shortage of hours. It is the shortage of impact within those hours. You can double your hours of work and still feel empty if the work is hollow. But when you live for impact, even a single focused hour can change everything. The teacher who spends 1 hour inspiring a student may alter the course of a life. Artist who spends 1 hour creating may shape beauty that lasts for centuries. Parent who spends 1 hour with presence and love may strengthen a child's heart forever. Impact is the language that time understands. Time itself forgets the length of your days, but remembers what you poured into them. When people look back at your life, they will not remember how many hours you lived, but how you used them. They will remember how you made them feel, what you created, what you gave, what you stood for. The clock does not preserve you, impact does. This is why you must guard yourself against wasting time in pursuits that leave no trace. Entertainment has its place. Rest has its place. When entire days are consumed with nothing lasting, life becomes shallow. Ask yourself often, if this day were my last, what would it have meant? If my hours ended tonight, what would remain? Questions like these are not meant to bring fear, but clarity. They remind you that impact is the true measure of time. Every day offers you the chance to plant something eternal within the temporary. The hours are given freely, but how you shape them is your responsibility. To live a life measured only in hours is to live on the surface. To live a life measured by impact is to live deeply, fully, with meaning. And when the final day comes, will not be the number of hours that brings peace, but the knowledge that within those hours you created light, you gave love, you built something that will remain long after you are gone. If you knew that today was your final opportunity, how would you live it? Would you waste time in hesitation, in distraction, in endless cycles of doubt and complaint? Or would you step forward with urgency, pouring your heart into every word, every action, every connection? To act as if each day were your last chance is to awaken to the truth that time is never guaranteed. Tomorrow is not promised, and yesterday cannot be retrieved. What you have is this moment, this breath, this chance to live with fullness before it slips into memory. Most people postpone life. They say, I will start tomorrow, I will change when things are better, I will give my best when I feel ready. But life does not wait. The clock is moving whether you act or delay. Every hour spent postponing is an hour you never recover. When you live as if each day is your last, postponement dies. Procrastination loses its grip. You stop living in a future that may never come and begin to live in the only time you truly own, now. To act this way does not mean living recklessly. It means living intentionally. It means treating each conversation as though it might be your last opportunity to speak truth. It means embracing each person as though you may never see them again, so you give them kindness, not bitterness, patience, not anger. It means using your gifts fully instead of saving them for some distant day. It means that every step you take carries a weight of purpose, running through the park because you know you may never get to take it again. Imagine how different life would be if you spoke words with that awareness. You would not hold back encouragement when someone needs it, for you may never have another chance. You would not withhold forgiveness because resentment wastes too much of what little time remains. You would not allow fear to silence you because silence may steal the opportunity to create change. Every action would be sharper, deeper, more alive because you are aware that the chance is fleeting. Living this way also awakens gratitude. When you see each day as possibly your last, you no longer take it for granted. The sunrise is no longer ordinary. The breath in your lungs is no longer automatic. Simple gestures of life are no longer overlooked. You begin to notice the sacredness of what is here. Gratitude sharpens impact, and impact sharpens gratitude until your life becomes a series of meaningful exchanges between you and the world around you. Is power in urgency. Urgency reminds you that time is not an endless resource and that your dreams will not fulfill themselves. If you do not act today, they may die with you tomorrow. Urgency does not have to bring anxiety. It can bring clarity. It strips away distractions, exposing what matters most. When you live with the awareness of last chances, you begin to choose carefully. You stop wasting hours on what drains you. You stop filling your mind with endless noise. You protect your time like treasure because you understand its true worth. And yet, many people avoid thinking this way because it confronts them with mortality. To deny death is to deny life. When you face the truth that your time is limited, you unlock the ability to live deeply. Every choice becomes significant. Every day becomes a rare jewel. You stop sleepwalking through life and begin to live awake. The thought of a last chance is not a curse. It is a gift, a reminder to not leave your song unsung, your work unfinished, your love unexpressed. If today were your last chance, what words would you speak? Who would you forgive? What would you finally begin? Why wait until death presses the question upon you? Why not live today with that clarity? Why not write the words, take the step, make the call, start the work, love with all your strength now? You do not need more time to live meaningfully. You need more awareness of the time you already have. The truth is, one day you will be right. One day it really will be your last chance. When that day arrives, it will not matter how many plans you carried for tomorrow, only how you lived today. So do not postpone. Do not waste what is too precious to return. Live now. Act now. Pour yourself into the hours you have been given as if they are your final gift. For one day they will be. Time is the most silent teacher we will ever have, and its lessons are never repeated. Each day is a gift handed to us without promise of another, and within it lies the chance to create, to love, to give, to rise. Your actions are the only language time truly understands, and the mark you leave behind is written not in the hours you lived, but in the depth with which you lived them. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Make this moment perfect by what you pour into it. Live as if every day is your last chance, not with fear, but with fire. Walk forward with courage, with clarity, with presence, and let your life speak louder than your words ever could. Because when the final hour comes, it will not be the time you had that defines you. It will be the impact you dared to create.